Hey, good morning, East Texas. Thanks for joining us on the CBS 19 Plus live stream. We're live on CBS 19 Plus on Facebook and on YouTube. I will be periodically monitoring the Facebook comments. So if you have questions about the upcoming downpours and potential for some flooding, go ahead and drop your questions there. I'll do my best to get to all of them. Now, in the meantime, we are tracking wonderful weather today. Lots of clouds. It'll only be in the 70s. There's a chance for scattered showers later in the day, but overall, a very nice Monday and a very nice Cinco de Mayo. Tomorrow, we are tracking incoming rain. Now, if you take a look at your screen, you're going to see pink and purple. That's where we're seeing a level 3 and a level 2 risk of flash flooding. That level 1 is just sitting off towards central and toward west Texas. So we're tracking a moderate risk. That's a level 3 out of 4. We don't often get this in East Texas, so this is something that you need to make sure you're staying aware and, of course, staying up to date with. Once again, the second highest level risk that there is of flash flooding. That's because we're tracking heavy downpours that are coming in. Those are going to start during the morning commute and continue to fly through East Texas. I am expecting widespread coverage across the Piney Woods at this point, and we'll likely see lots of these showers shift out to the south as we hit the afternoon and evening hours on Tuesday. Now, in terms of what you need to know, really the biggest risk of all these types of weather that we're tracking, flooding. I put that all the way up to almost to our highest category. Damaging wind, hail, and a tornado can't get ruled out, but for the majority of us, flooding will be the biggest impact. That's why the National Weather Service has already issued a flood watch. That goes into effect tomorrow at 7 a.m. and continues through Wednesday at 7 a.m. That's for every single county that's highlighted in green on your screen. So all of us here in the Piney Woods. And that comes on top of already active flood warnings. So once again, a watch is where we will likely see something happen in the future. A warning is where we are already seeing it happen now. And what you're seeing highlighted on your screen, lots of very high, very quick moving rivers, especially up to the north out toward the Sabine River, the Neches River, down to the south. Those are all highlighted in green. Make sure that you are staying cautious, because we are going to see these rivers run even higher and even faster thanks to the rain that's on the way over the next few days. So some things you need to know about. It only takes 6 inches of water to wash away the average adult. So that would knock you off your feet if that water is moving quickly. About a foot of water to make a small car wash away. And then if you make it up to 18 inches, that could wash away a larger vehicle, once again in fast moving water. The biggest thing that I can tell you, I've said it before and I will probably say it so many more times over the next 24 hours, turn around, don't drown. You want to avoid driving into floodwaters. You never know how deep that water is. Avoid hydroplaning as much as possible and make sure to take it slow as you're hitting the roadways early tomorrow morning, because that really will impact your morning commute and your evening commute tomorrow. The roads will be slick. There will likely be some puddles out there, maybe some ponding on the banks there. You want to avoid driving through that as much as possible. And of course, take it slow. A weather impact alert is active tomorrow for that risk of flooding, but we're still tracking rain showers all the way through the end of the work week. Now, the reason for this is because we have a very wavy weather pattern. We're under what is called an omega block. That's essentially where we have high pressure sandwiched between the two low pressure systems, and it forms the shape of the Greek letter omega. Now, typically it takes a while for this to break down, but we are going to see high pressure scoot off to the east. Low pressure moves in, and that's going to create a perpetually rainy pattern for us all the way through the end of the work week. The good news is there is some light at the end of the tunnel. High pressure builds in from the desert southwest, and that's going to bring us some sunshine as we head into the weekend. Still, though, a rainy pattern for the next several days. Today all the way through Friday is when I have rain chances in the forecast. We could pick up to 4 inches in some areas. That's what you're seeing highlighted in the brighter oranges on your screen. Many of us, though, could see up to about 3.5 inches of rain. So overall, it is going to be a very soggy weather pattern. Make sure that you are staying weather aware. Now, we really don't need all of this excess rainfall so far in 2025. So I'm taking this up to the end of yesterday. So the data that we received up until the end of yesterday, we'll receive the rest of it today once the National Weather Service gives us the information for today, May 5th. But as of May 4th, so far this year in Tyler, we've picked up about 18.5 inches. The normal amount that we receive in the same time period is closer to 14, 15 inches. So that puts us between 3 to 4 inches of rain in the green. So we are running ahead in the rainfall race. we don't really need all of that extra rain that we'll pick up. We're not seeing any drought across the region either, so this is just going to serve to create a bit of a soggy weather pattern. In the meantime, we are tracking clear skies through deep East Texas, some clouds building in along the I-20 corridor, but so far we are staying dry. It is on the cooler end if you're heading out. Right now it's about 10:10 when I'm recording this. It's on the cooler end. We're currently still in the 60s, but will likely warm over the next several hours. I have us making it all the way up to the upper 70s this afternoon. 78, that's the high temperature for my forecast. That's for the Rose City. 77 in Longview, 77 in Henderson. Toward deep East Texas and Nacogdoches, I think we could push on that 80-degree mark. I don't think that we'll necessarily break the 80s, but enough that it will be a little bit warmer. Some passing clouds, a light breeze. Overall, a pretty nice day. Now, we do have showers in the forecast later today. I'm giving you a live look at our CBS19 radar. Once again, the time's still 10:10, 10:11, about to turn 10:11, I should say. There is rain beginning to fall out to our west, towards Stephenville, toward Weatherford, out towards Stamford, towards Seymour, and all the way up toward the Red River. Some lightning is out of that as well. There have been special weather statements that have been put out for this. The National Weather Service is actively watching this storm system. Now, if you are planning on traveling this Monday past Dallas, past Fort Worth, going out toward Abilene, toward Graham, toward West Texas, you will run into a bit of a messy weather pattern out there. Right now in East Texas, we're dry, but this is on its way to us as we hit the afternoon and evening hours. Let me time it out for you. After 4 p.m. is when we'll start to see some scattered showers, a few heavier pockets of rain. I'm not tracking anything severe out of this system tonight. The big risk is tomorrow. But really, just watch out. You may need to turn on windshield wipers because this will impact your drive home from work. This will likely happen as the kiddos are walking home from school as well. Make sure that they have their rain gear ready. I'm not expecting much lightning out of the system, so they should be good to walk home from school as long as they have their rain gear, a rain jacket. Rain boots are a good idea as well. Now, deep East Texas, we could see some lightning, so I'd recommend that you have your kiddos find a way to get home that's not walking, so if they can get a ride, that'd be a good option as well. That continues all the way through the evening hours. We get a chance to dry out overnight. There is a chance for just a scattered patch of rain here or there. Mainly, though, we are tracking clouds. Temperatures will be rather mild. We'll only drop down to about 63 in Tyler and Henderson, 62 in Emory, 60 in Canton, 64 in Lufkin, and in Nacogdoches before sunrise tomorrow. That puts us a few degrees above the average, only about 2 to 3 degrees there, so nothing significant, just pretty seasonal. Otherwise, we are going into weather impact alert mode tomorrow. Once again, that is going to impact you during your morning commute. Make sure that you are staying weather aware. We are tracking very slick roadways, lots of rain, and really that threat level for flooding will only increase through the rest of the day. Alrighty, I'm going to check our Facebook comments. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them there. Hello, Eric. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm seeing questions about Carthage, Texas. All right, Eric, let me go ahead and walk you through future Skycast, and we can take a look at Carthage, Texas. I'll time everything out for you. All right, here's your future Skycast. I'm starting this around the midday tomorrow. Lots of rainfall out there. This is going to bring you some gusty winds as we get into the afternoon and evening hours. So really, it's out to the eastern border. That's where we start to see some of these rain chances begin to pick up. So make sure that you're staying weather aware. Really, the big risk with this is going to be flooding. Now, I want to ease any anxieties that you may have, because that's where we're not expecting necessarily anything to be widespread tornadoes across the area. That's not in the cards for us. We could get an isolated spin up, but the bigger risk is going to be some sort of flooding. Really, as long as you are staying safe, you should be good to go. The bigger risk is if you are out on the roadway. So when you're driving to and from work, you're driving to run errands, you're picking the kids up, you're taking the kids to their after school activities. That's where you're going to feel the bigger impacts from this. That's going to make the roadways a little bit dangerous. It could make travel on the hazardous side of things. Make sure that you never drive into floodwaters. That's going to be the safest option for you. But back to Eric's question about Carthage, heavy rainfall there, especially as we hit the afternoon hours. In terms of how much rain we're expecting, I would say between 1 inch to 3 inches of rain during tomorrow's 24 hours, so from midnight to midnight. That's going to add up to enough to cause a risk of flooding, especially if you live in a low-lying area. So that's more similar to if you're in a low-lying area or if you're by a river or a stream or a lake. That's where you're more likely to see some sort of overflowing from that body of water. I would recommend, if you are concerned about it and you do live in a floodplain, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have sandbags if that is a problem in your area. Now, that's not going to be the case for the majority of us. The majority of East Texas, you're going to be okay as long as you don't drive into those floodwaters. Once again, it's going to be more so if you're traveling that it's an issue. And that's going to be an issue for us all the way through the day tomorrow as we hit the rest of the week. Now, in terms of rainfall, road conditions are not great Tuesday. If you were planning to hit the lake or any rivers later this week to go fishing or just to enjoy some of the bodies of water across the Piney Woods, it will be a delayed effect that we start to see the high, fast-moving water. Now, we are just starting to see some of our rivers crest after the rainfall that we received at the end of last week. So it is a few days that we have that delayed effect. That's why we still have several flood warnings that are active across many of our East Texas rivers. We will likely see more flood warnings get issued after tomorrow's storms. So we get what's called a flash flood warning. That means where there's likely water on the roadways in dangerous situations. If you can avoid travel during that time, you should be good to go. And when we'll get flood warning, so minus the flash part, that's where we're seeing the rivers and the lakes run very high. Flood refers specifically to the water overseeding the banks of the river. Flash flood refers to the rain coming down. Make sure that you are just staying cautious if you are hitting the lakes afterwards. Once again, that water is moving very high, or I should say will be moving very high and very fast after tomorrow's rainfall. So I would recommend avoiding the lakes for just a little bit of time. And I know that a lot of us are planning to probably get outdoors as we hit next weekend. I know it's a few days away, but I'm always looking forward to the weekend. Plenty of sunshine over the weekend. So a lot of us will be tempted to go into the water. Just make sure that you are staying cautious and checking with the local authorities, especially if you're heading out to a state park or to a national park in the area, or I should say a state park in the area, or a reservoir. That way you can tell if it's safe to enter the water there. Otherwise, let me see if there are any more questions that are on our Facebook live chat. And that's all that I'm seeing. So I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. And let me just go ahead and leave you with our final 7-day forecast. Let me walk you through it just one more time. If you want to take a closer look at this, we are tracking beautiful weather today. There is a chance for scattered showers, mainly after 4 p.m. That's when we start to see a few pockets of rain. You might need to turn on your windshield wipers. If you have an umbrella or raincoat, you should be good to go. Tomorrow, widespread torrential rainfall. Make sure that you are staying up to date with the forecast. Go ahead and download your CBS19 Plus app. That way we can give you alerts of the latest watches and warnings in your area. Remember to never enter floodwaters, especially in a vehicle. That is one of the most dangerous things that you can do in a situation like this. We do get a chance to dry out slightly on Wednesday. There are still rain chances, though, that will linger all the way through Friday. The good news is sunshine comes out to help evaporate any of that lingering water and mugginess on Saturday. Sunday, once again, a copy paste of Saturday and a beautiful day to enjoy the sunshine. Thanks so much for joining us on the CBS 19 Plus live stream.